This week, we finally got a look at the Datamines for Apocalypse's kit. Is this character going to be worth that year-long chase that many have invested in this character? I got my opinions in this video. Plus, we also have Datamines of the full Masters of Evil team. Is this a great value for Crucible, or is this another trap team? Got my opinions on that as well. Plus, it is Monday, so it's time for all of your questions for the mailbag. And if you're ready for that Valley Club, you know what to do. Find that like button and let's go smash it!
ValleyFlyin.
Hello, Valley Club. Welcome back to the ValleyFlyin channel. I am ValleyFlyin. I hope you're having a great day, and I hope you had a great weekend. And if you're celebrating MLK Jr. Day today, happy MLK Jr. Day to you, my friend. Well, we are talking all about Marvel Strike Force, the new Masters of Evil team, the new characters that are coming. We have Datamines of their kits, Absorbing Man, Kang the Conqueror, and a character that I have not heard of, Moonstone. We're going to take a look at all of them, plus the long-awaited debut of the Apocalypse kit. Yes, is he going to be worth that chase? Well, we're talking about that and all of your questions from the mailbag. Now, if this is your first time here on the ValleyFlyin channel, hit that subscribe button if you want to get more great Marvel Strike Force content. There's at least 5 Marvel Strike Force videos per week with mailbag videos, which we do every week. We also have news videos, tips, tricks, gameplay videos, everything to help your Marvel Strike Force journey. And yes, if you haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. But let's get right into the main details today. The main event, it is this. These are the Datamines for the Masters of Evil, Absorbing Man, Moonstone, Kang the Conqueror, and last but not least, the long-awaited Apocalypse. Now, these Datamines do come from Tana, so credit to Tana for doing these Datamines and putting together this presentation here on the Google Drive. I was thinking it's a PowerPoint presentation, but it's not. It's on Google Drives. But yes, he did all this work, so thank you for doing this, and thank you for locating all this information. Now, where did this come from? Well, with a lot of the information that they put in, and they did some reworks to the Rebirth team this past weekend. It looks like they've also included the characters coming from the next patch. Now, if you didn't see my video from this weekend, the Rebirth team, these are the stat improvements that they got. Captain America got some buffs, got some HP and damage stats. Agent Venom got his kit working a little better, increase in damage on his kits. Plus, the big thing, Ultimate went from 6-turn cooldown to 4-turn cooldown. And Captain Carter got more heal and more damage on her special and her ultimate. So all these characters got a little better, but that is where this information came from. So let's go start with their kits right away. First is Absorbing Man with a Villain, Global Mystic, Protector, and Masters of Evil traits. Now, before we get into the rest of these kits, guys, I do want to remind you, these are Datamines, which means everything is subject to change. As you know with the blog post, even those official information is subject to change, but these are even more subject to change because these are not officially announced. A lot of people are thinking that, a lot of times with these Datamines, the company has pushed these out to see what the community's reaction is going to be, and then they'll adjust at that point. I think the initial kits that we see here are very, very strong, though. So he does have all of these traits for Absorbing Man. The comic lore, he is the husband of Titania. So it was speculated long ago that he would be on this Masters of Evil team, and no surprise, he is on this Masters of Evil team. Let's take a look at the basic. Attacking the primary target, 360% damage. This is the cool thing that I think he is transferring positive effects, because that kind of gives a flavor of what this character does in the comics. Transferring 2 positive effects in not stealth, not taunt, from the primary target to stealth. And if the target has vulnerable, a lot of these characters you will want vulnerable on. So you're gonna need someone with that skirmisher or that radar type to give a lot of vulnerables, because as you'll see in leather kits, it's based on these vulnerables. He's gonna get 2 deflects with his basic. And with his assist and counter info, he's still going to do that damage. He's still going to transfer 2 positive effects, and not stealth and taunt and vulnerable. He's still gaining those deflects. So a lot of similarities with his ISO 8 counter and his assist chance there. His special 4-turn cooldown. And I do like the flavor of this one as well, because it kind of matches with what Absorbing Man would do. Transfer all negative effects from the Masters of Evil to himself. And then what he's going to do is take all of those negative effects and flip them into positive effects. There it is. Okay. And then he's going to apply offense down for 2 turns to all enemies. He's going to attack the primary and adjacent targets at 400% damage. He's going to take all the taunt away from your allies, and he's going to gain taunt. But if it's Crucible, he's going to gain taunt for 2 turns. This is a very important move. And I think what this team was designed to be used as is an offensive solution for a lot of the tough defenses in Cosmic Crucible. So you'll be able to control this with this. His ultimate is a 5-turn cooldown, available on turn 1 as well. What he's going to do, clearing all negative effects from self. And in Crucible, he's going to heal himself for 40% of his max health. So a lot better in Crucible. This entire team was meant to be a Crucible team. So you see a lot of the bonuses that these guys get will be for Cosmic Crucible. He's going to do some big damage to the primary target, 500% damage, clearing all positive effects from that primary target. And if he's in Crucible, he's also going to apply immunity for 1 turn, deflect to all Masters of Evil allies. So all this stuff is a lot better in Crucible, and it's all of it has that big synergy with the rest of the Masters of Evil. And finally, he has a passive here on spawn. He's gonna gain taunt and 3 deflect. So this means that he's a third pre-match taunter in the game. Drax was the first, Red Guardian the second, Absorbing Man is that third. So just because of this, he's gonna get a lot of value in the game. Drax, as crappy as his kit is still getting some value because of that pre-match taunt. Red Guardian, I see him a lot of hybrid teams because of that. Absorbing Man, even after the time of Masters of Evil passed, because of this pre-match taunt, I think he's going to still get some play. So this is a character that I think you can build up. And even if you're not using that Masters of Evil, you can build confidently. But we'll get to that question if you guys should build these characters right now. When attacked, transfer in positive effect, excluding stealth and taunt to this character. Gain 1 defense up to a maximum of 3. So every time he's attacked, he's gonna gain another defense up. So that's very strong. And he's gonna transfer a positive effect. So it feels like he's stealing, he's absorbing these positive effects from the enemies. When the character's health drops below 50%, he has taunt. He's gonna lose the taunt and fill speed by 30%, reminiscent kind of what I see with the Hulk there or some other protectors in the game. And in addition, for each turn of defense up, he's also gaining 20% armor and 20% resistance. So he's gonna be a tough protector there. And in Crucible, they're gonna get even better. Masters of Evil allies and self are gonna get more resistance. So there's gonna be a strong T4 because I like these T4s that affect the entire team there. On spawn, in offense, so only Cosmic Crucible offense, 4 counters to Titania, and on block he's gonna heal for 5% of max health. So this is a very strong character, and I think even outside of this Masters of Evil team, this Absorbing Man is gonna have some value. This character, Moonstone, a new character, at least to me. I have not heard of her before these Datamines here. With the tags, the villain, global biocontroller, Masters of Evil, Sophin persuaded the original Moonstone into giving her the Moonstone, the Kree device that granted her immense powers. So some of you were saying she does have some relation to Captain Marvel, and I guess that Kree relationship is there. All right. Moving on to the kit there, I'll let you guys check these out later. I will leave a link to these this presentation down below. And again, big shout out to Tana for doing that stuff. Her basic though, attacking the primary target, 300% damage, applying defense down for 2 turns, and if the target has vulnerable, she's gonna gain an ability energy, which is gonna be good for her kits here, or for some of her moves that have longer cooldowns. Attacking the primary target for damage and even more piercing damage, still applying those defense down and gaining that ability energy with the assist and counter chance. This is a strong one right here. Let's move on. She does have some high cooldowns, 5-turn cooldowns on both her special and her ultimate. There's more than one enemy, reduce the speed bar of that enemy with the highest damage by 20%. You're gonna then mind control the target, the primary target, to attack the enemy with the highest damage, and then to attack the primary target, she's gonna do the attacking for 400% damage, applying stun for a turn, defense down for a turn, and if it's Crucible, trauma and disrupted. Very strong special here that we have here. More even stronger in Crucible because of the taunt and the trauma and the disrupt. But yeah, reducing the speed bar of the enemy and having the primary target attack the highest damage character. That's a strong special. Her ultimate, attacking the primary target and adjacent targets, 250% damage, applying defense down for 2 turns to each target. Very strong. And Crucible reduce the speed bar of each target by 20% and applying stun to the primary target. So she has some speed bar manipulation in her kit, which is strange because the next character is Kang, who I think should have even more speed bar manipulation, but we're going to talk about his kit and what it means. All right, so that is her kit. Very simple. Her passive, this character has at least 1 ally, gain evade to a maximum of 3. and in Crucible only. So this is kind of a weak passive. I'm not sure if this is the final form of this, but evade to a maximum of 3 just seems a little weak. But in Crucible, Masters of Evil and Self are going to gain extra focus, so that is a strong passive there. Only in Crucible though, and on offense you're going to gain more focus, 100% instead of 50%. So she's going to be very strong, and it looks like they're trying to lean these Masters of Evil towards offense rather than defense. I think they're still going to be very strong on defense though. And then last but not least, rounding out this Masters of Evil team, at least according to these data mines, is Kang the Conqueror. And he's going to have that villain Cosmic Tech Blaster and that Masters of Evil tag. All right, let's move on to his kit here. His basic, attacking the primary target 300%, 360% piercing. If the primary target has defense up, and if you recollect what defense up does, it decreases damage by 50%. So he's just, instead of ignoring the defense up, he's just going to do double damage. So defense up doesn't matter. Still going to do that 720% piercing there. If the target has vulnerable, gain 20% speed bar. And this attack cannot be counterattacked. So he's getting a little bit of speed manipulation on his basic. I would have thought he had a little bit more, but let's move on to the rest of his kit. His assist and ISO chance is pretty similar. He's attacking the target for damage. Attacking, if the primary target has defense up, he's going to do double the damage in piercing. And if they have vulnerable, he's going to gain 20% more speed bar. All right, his special, only on Crucible offense, clearing barrier from the primary target and adjacent targets. Then he's going to attack the primary for 420% damage. If they have defense up, it's going to go up to 840. So just doubling what they do just to kind of mitigate the effects of that defense up. In Crucible, going to apply slow for 2 turns to each target and apply offense up for 2 turns to the Masters of Evil, and Self for each time this attack crits, gaining 1 evade. So I would have liked to see a little bit more speed bar manipulation, kind of what we saw with that Moonstone kit there. But because it is Kang the Conqueror, he does a little bit of speed bar manipulation. He's applying slow to the targets there. And his ultimate on Crucible offense. So this move is only going to be, or this section of the move is only going to be on offense. And it's a 4-turn, or starting with 4 ability energy, 6-turn cooldown though. So it's going to clear barrier and death proof from all enemies. He's going to attack the primary target 300% piercing, carrying 3 positive effects, which is great. Strong move. If the primary target has defense up, instead, you're going to do double the damage, so mitigating the effects of that defense up, and then you're going to clear that 3 positive effects as well. You're going to reduce the speed of the primary target by 10%, and in Crucible, you're going to apply speed up for 2 turns to all Masters of Evil allies and Self, and this is unavoidable and cannot be blocked, so screw those tangled web defenses. Is unavoidable, so those charges on Spider Weaver won't matter. Enemies killed by this attack cannot be revived, so there goes some of that Dormammu counter that this character has there. So that is the ultimate. Let's move on to the last but not least, the passive of Kang the Conqueror. If this character is charged, Masters of Evil allies gain 20% crit chance and 10% crit damage. I would have liked to see something along the lines of speed bar, just because he's Kang the Conqueror. He can travel in time, can manipulate time. This is nice though. This is great for the team, and actually maybe more fitting for the entire team as I looked at the entire team. But just thematically, I would have liked to see more speed bar manipulation. Of course, these are data mines though, so all of it is subject to change. Gaining 10% crit damage per charge, and at the end of a turn, gaining charge up to a maximum of 3. So up to 30% more crit damage when he's fully charged. And then in Crucible, if this character has charge, Masters of Evil and Self allies with offense up gain an additional 20% crit chance and 10% crit damage, so even more stuff in Crucible. And on offense, Masters of Evil gain an additional 20% crit and 10% damage. So I'm thinking all of this stuff stacks here. So the 20% crit damage plus the 20 and the 20, so that's 60% extra crit chance, actually the more crit chance, and then the crit damage 10% plus 10% plus 10%. It seems like it stacks on Crucible offense, but you know, sometimes some of these are not worded the best, so we will have to see once it comes to the game. And now it is time, ladies and gentlemen. The main event of these data mines is Apocalypse, and here are the data mine tags for Apocalypse: villain, global, mutant, support. So some of you guys were theorizing that he is a support character, and if the data mines are correct, he is going to be that support character for that team. His basic gains offense up, speed up for 1 turn, healing Self for 5% of max health, attacking the primary target for 400% damage and gaining 100% drain. It cannot be blocked, and is unavoidable. So right there, this is also another Spider Weaver counter there. And an assist counter chance, gaining offense up, speed up, healing for 5% of max health, attacking the primary target for damage, and piercing damage, 100% drain, still unavoidable, cannot be blocked, and while empowered, enemies killed by this attack cannot be revived. And we're going to talk about what he needs to get to that empowered state in just a little bit. It's a little unique, and the thing about him is when he has an empowered state, he can only do his basic. He can't do his other moves there. So just for that, it might be worth upgrading his basic, but he's going to be an arena character. This is going to be an arena team. So just for that, I'm probably going to upgrade all of my T4s for Apocalypse once he comes to the game. Long cooldown, so reminds me of kind of Dormammu with this kit here, but yes, very long cooldowns, which means that he's going to be effective in arena, but maybe not so effective in other game modes like raids or something that you need multiple, maybe wanting to do these move multiple times. Attacking the primary target and adjacent allies for 350% piercing. The target has defense up, attack again for 350% piercing, and gaining 100% drain for that attack. So interesting how they word this. So you're gonna do that piercing damage. If they have defense up, you're gonna do that piercing damage again. Instead of how Kang's kit is worded, at least at this point, if they have defense up, Kang's just gonna do double damage instead. So I guess the benefit is you're getting 2 attacks, which means that if they dodge or do something or have a death proof, you could get through that. Whereas Kang's attack, which is that big number, you aren't able to get through things like death proof, things like that. Applying ability block to primary target for a maximum of 2 turns. Not sure. I guess if you already have an ability block and you're putting another one, you could do the maximum of 2. Not sure the wording of this, what this actually means, but because it doesn't say that this stacks with additional ability blocks or anything like that. Redistribute your, I guess, +1 ability block. Yeah, and a maximum of 2. So you can't have more than 2 turns of ability block with just this move. Redistribute your total health squad evenly. So reminiscent of that Scarlet Witch, I think they're special there. Clearing all negative effects for self and Horseman allies and 2 allies with the highest damage. And I guess on Arena, you're using a full Horseman team with Apocalypse. This opens it up because I don't think you're using that full Horseman team in Crucible, in War. I think you're splitting them up. So this opens up for other characters to be on this team. Defense up to a maximum of 2, and immunity, +1 defense up to a maximum of 2. Immunity safeguard to self, Horseman allies, and 2 allies with the highest damage. So that is how these allies are going to be chosen on a non-full Horseman team. Moving on to his ultimate here, you're gonna clear all barriers from all enemies, and this is a very long cooldown. 10 turn cooldown. You're not able to use this on turn 1. Kind of like that Wong ultimate cooldown, just very, very long, but you could probably do this once per battle, and then you're using a lot of that basic. So just that in mind, it might really be worth upgrading that basic since you're using it a lot. Clearing barrier from all enemies, attacking all enemies, 500% damage with 100% drain, flipping defense up, and 2 other positive effects on each enemy. So that is a strong one there, flipping positive to negative. So almost like rolling that Thanos flip into Thanos flip, the Dormammu. A lot of characters combine into this Apocalypse kit here. Applying trauma for 1 turn to each enemy. Gain empowered. This is how you gain that empowered, guys. We're going to talk about what that means for him in a little bit. Grant all horsemen plus 60% speed bar, and this that cannot be blocked. Countered, it is unavoidable. So that empowered, the basic attack, what you're gonna do, just stealing 60% of the primary target's max health. So if they are under 60% max health, they're gonna die. This attack ignores death proofs, unavoidable, cannot be blocked, remove empowered. And if we look at this counter attack chance, while empowered, enemies killed by this attack cannot be revived. So very, very strong empowered Apocalypse there. Unfortunately though, because the only way to get that empowered is to use this ultimate here, and it has such a long cooldown, you'll probably use this once per match. So use this wisely, use that ultimate wisely. The special ultimate cannot be used while empowered, and he has a long passive here. The character cannot be revived, so it has that Dormammu reminiscence. On spawn, he's going to gain immunity. Enemies cannot gain immunity before this character's first turn. So I'm wondering how that's going to work with characters like, or teams like the Infinity Watch, which do get that immunity on spawn. If they're just not going to get it, or because they get it on spawn, they maybe get it and can't get more. I'm thinking, I would like to see exactly how this works. Sometimes, like I said, the wording is not very exact on these, and we have to play test it and see how these work. All right, more max health, more focus per horseman, tech, and mutant allies. So again, I like that they're opening this up to multiple teams. So you're not just locked with Apocalypse on this Horseman team. There's some other teams that you could use here. 40% counter chance, an additional 15% per villain ally, and they're opening up to more villains for Apocalypse there. When this character is stunned, he's not stunned because he's going to clear stun, he's going to clear heal block, and he's going to heal self for 20% of the max health. So kind of like Dormammu, do not stun Apocalypse. And this is the big one, guys. It says Horseman allies and self are immune to speed modifiers besides slow and speed up. So to me, the way that reads is that the only thing they could get is speed up or slowed. Anything else like that passive for Emma Frost, the passive for Bishop, I mean, not the passive for Bishop, the passive for Cable or the passive for Loki may not affect these Horseman characters too much. So, but it just may be with the wording there. So we will have to see how this passive actually works. And as far as their value there, obviously Apocalypse is going to be that big bad character. And I think he is worth that chase. He's a very strong character. We got other teams that are built up. And I think you're going to have a lot of value from him, not just on that full Horseman team, but because he has some synergy with tech characters, with villain characters, with mutant characters. I think you're going to have a lot of options for Apocalypse. Now, the rest of these Masters of Evil, I think even if you're not planning to use this Masters of Evil or not really going hard in Crucible, Absorbing Man will be a great character because of that pre-match taunt. With Moonstone and Kang the Conqueror, I think a lot of their reliance is going to be on Crucible. So I think you could win these, and maybe Kang the Conqueror, maybe there's something else coming down the road for him, because having him just relegated to Crucible duty seems like a little bit of waste for the character that should be the big bad in the next phase of the Marvel cinematic universe. So let me know your thoughts on this team. I think this is a good team, but if you're really focused on Apocalypse and building these Horseman teams, you can use your resources in other places. If you don't like Crucible at all, well, this team is gonna shine in Crucible and maybe in War as well, but I don't think they have a lot of use outside of that. And as far as Apocalypse, yeah, I think he's a character that's worth the chase, and I like that he has that extra synergy there. But it is Mailbag Monday, ladies and gentlemen, so that's enough of the Datamines. Let's go into the questions of the week. Valley, I have a question about how to spend my gold promos, and would anyone from Darkhold and Gamma be worth spending gold promos or not? Yes. But here's my thing with these gold and silver promos. It all comes down to usage. So if you are using these characters a lot, especially if you're using an arena and raids, because those are daily things, and Crucible and War are 3 times a week things. Well, I think if you're using them a lot, they are worth that justification for either spending silver or gold promos on those characters. So I would say anybody that you intend to use a lot, anybody that you have struggle. So if you're struggling in the raids, you could use characters on there. If you're struggling in arena, use it on characters that go for there. And if you really enjoy War, really enjoy Crucible, then yeah, just because you know it's not recommended, do what is for your enjoyment level. So put on the characters that you intend to use. That's how I would spend it. But for me, I plan to use Darkhold, and I do plan to use Gamma for a while. So I think both of those teams are worth spending those credits on. All right, not sure how much of it can take this garbage game. Scopely aside, the crap where you verse the AI I can't take. Why does opponent Squirrel Girl, for example, full heal in Cosmic Crucible every time she uses her special, whereas mine with the same power half heals? Why does opponent dodge like crazy for me and have a better chance of winning the lotto than getting a dodge? So I'm over to this crap. I'm not sure I can make it to Apocalypse. All right, so as far as the heals, I'm wondering if there's something that you're not taking into account. Maybe a passive of another character, maybe some extra gear that the character had, maybe some other T4s. But as far as the dodges, that's kind of that's been in the game for a while. You know, having the AI have stronger dodges, particularly Spider-Man and Vision back in the early days of Marvel Strike Force, was very, very annoying, but I kind of expected that in PvE content. So if they have more heals, if they dodge a lot more in PvE content, that's fine. But you're talking about Cosmic Crucible here. I have not noticed a difference in my healing versus my opponent's healing, unless of course it's a big punch up or a punch down. So I'm not sure what is going on there. That seems like it's not fair. But I mean, if you're thinking that's PvE content, then that's just kind of how this game has worked. So hopefully we figure this out. Hopefully there's not some bug in Cosmic Crucible that's causing some opponent Squirrel Girls to do more heals. But yeah, the dodge is very, very annoying. That one is pretty random, so you could be getting some good RNG or bad RNG with the dodges, but the heal should be pretty consistent, unless there's something I'm missing. If there's something I'm missing, Valley Club, let me know in the comments down below. All right, Stifler's mom, what is up, brother? Everyone's favorite Stifler here. I'm pretty sure I have the answer, but we'll, in case, ask for new players. With Scopely moving the farming of newer characters out to a year, there are 9 to 18 old characters that are still probably worthy of 6 red star promo credits. I guess mostly I'm wondering about raid tunes or war tunes. Tunes like Silver Surfer, Emma, Ghost Rider, or Captain America have been intriguing recently. So again, kind of like the answer to the last question, it's all about who you use. So if you're using these characters or plan to use them, that should outweigh a lot of what I say here. But for me, you're wondering if they are raid or war. I would go with raid characters if I'm not sure, because like I said in a previous question, raid is something that you're doing every single day with your Lions, and if you could beat raids easier and be more efficient with them, or get the character so strong that you're full simming it, that's going to save you a lot of time. So raid characters, yes, worthy of those promo credits. War characters, I guess that depends on your enjoyment of war. There's some alliances that go really, really hardcore in war, and if you're in one of those alliances and you really enjoy war, you should have no hesitation putting those red stars on those characters. Now, if you're in a casual war alliance like me, I'm not putting red stars on any of those characters. So it really depends on your situation. Now, let's go over each of the individual tunes that you mentioned. I know you mentioned a bunch of them, but and etc. But let me just go over these. Silver Surfer, not a character that I would use red stars for. He is very good character, but doesn't have a solid team. Isn't on a solid team in war. Isn't on a solid team in Crucible. Those are the only 2 game modes that I'm using him in right now. So Silver Surfer not worthy. Emma Frost is interesting because you're really bringing her for speed bar manipulation, clearing off the negative effects. So those red stars on her don't particularly help, except with increasing her health stats for her survivability. And sometimes you don't want Emma to die. You want her on the field so that she can be clearing those negative effects, so she can be blinding enemies there. So Emma is interesting. I think you can make the argument that she is worth it, although we just saw in Apocalypse's Datamine kit that he should be able to counter these Emma Frost teams. So a long time ago, I said Emma Frost wasn't one of the most valuable characters in Marvel Strike Force, because whatever meta team comes into the game, she could just replace the weakest member, and they're gonna get that turn meter advantage over the mirror match there. But that doesn't seem to be the case, at least with the Horsemen there. Now, future teams, they may not have this, so I think Emma Frost does have that value there. But again, most of her kit, you're not needing those red stars for. You're needing it for survivability. So if you want her to survive, do those moves longer, that's a great case for Emma Frost. Ghost Rider, in my opinion, is primarily a war character. So like I said, if war is something that's very important to you, then you should be happy to build that character, because he's great on that Darkhold team, not Darkhold, Dark Hunters team, and does a lot of damage there. Captain America is kind of the team of the future. I'm also intrigued with that character as well. I'd rather invest it in other characters that I need right now, though. And this Rebirth team is not a team that I need right now. It is a team that I'm probably going to need in the future. So I'm not investing any characters, any promo credits in Captain America. So that is my opinion. Use the character, buy the stars for the characters that you're going to use more often, and if you plan to use them more often. And don't buy the stars for the characters that you're not using as much. All right. Hey, Valley, not sure if you know the answer, but I'll ask anyway. So on msf.gg, the inventory section, which, by the way, has been super helpful. Yeah, I like that new inventory that we've had added, and syncing of msf.gg. I wish it did that when the game was a little more popular, but yes, better late than never, right? Now, it says I have 5 of this teal unique called the Olympus Extract that literally have 0 characters use. Yes, I think that was added a long time ago. I think they even added that before they added the unique for Morgan Le Fay and Gambit, that augmented tempered osmium. And I think they actually, and I know they added that before the augmented fortified chromium. But if we go into the game or go into msf.gg, look at my inventory, I have the exact same amount, which leads me to believe that this was actually from not an orb, because I was actually looking in the orbs, the different teal orbs in the game for this, and it is not there. So I'm thinking this was some kind of event reward or something like that that we had a long time ago. I think they had plans for characters. I believe this came a little bit before Thor Love and Thunder, maybe a few months before that, in anticipation for something that they had planned and probably scrapped for that movie tie-in. So I don't know what it's going to be used for. I don't know why we got all these 5 pieces of this, but yeah, it is in the game. I think they had plans. They stopped the plans, and that's why it's not in any of the stuff. I've had it for a while. No idea how we got it. Do you know what happened with this? Just check. It's only in Teal Gear. Now it's even more confused. So yeah, like I said, I think it was from some rewards that we got. Maybe some milestone rewards that we got in a previous event or something that they had plans for, and then they just said, yeah, we're going in a different direction. I have another question. Which improvements would you want in the game? Because if they ever did Blitz Sim at all, it would ruin Blitz forever. They would make it harder in other game modes. All right. I think Blitz Sim would be great. It would be a great time saver. I don't want them to make the other game modes harder though. That would be kind of defeating the purpose of it. If they added Blitz Sim, it's to save time in the game so that we could spend time enjoying other game modes, not grinding useless, mindless game modes like Blitz is. But that is one thing that I would make. The other thing I would make, one thing that they did 2 major changes that really annoy me. The first is the claim all button. I got struck with that this week and didn't press any buttons, open all of my inventory. So that claim all button is trash. I hope they give us the option to remove that, especially with all these hoarding events that we have going back to back to back. The other thing I would do, I would change these timers. I mean, we got how many timers in the game? 8 different timers that we have to have. We have the energy resets, we have the server reset, we have some milestones reset at one time and some milestones reset at another time. We have the daily reset where everything changes over. We got so many resets. I would minimize that, streamline that. Another game that I play, Marvel Snap, has 3 resets per day. I would align a lot of these resets, combine them together so that we have 3 resets. And let's speak of time here. Let's give me one more. I said 2, I got one more. I want the option to switch my time back and forth. Maybe not all the time because that could create problems, but back when I was playing Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, they gave players the option to do that 2 times a year to account for these daylight savings time and everything changes. So I would like those 3 things. Stuff with time, you know, minimize, streamline the time so that there's less resets and times that we have to log in. I don't think they're going to do that because I think they like that FOMO that we have. I would like the option to switch my time zone 2 times a year just to account for that daylight savings time because I get confused every time that switches over. But if it didn't switch over, it'd be great. I like Blitz Sim, and then remove the claim all button. That's just a trash button there. I don't think I've ever used it and been like, oh, I'm so glad this was here. It's always like, oh, don't push this. I hope this doesn't accidentally claim on my stuff. So those are the 3 changes that I'd make. All right, hey Valley, just want to get your thoughts on this new Rebirth team. At the time of this post, and this was posted 1/13, so this is the day before the blog post came out, Agent Venom isn't out yet, but it's said to be coming soon in the game. I've recently leveled up all of my Rebirth characters decently high. Cap is gear 16. 7 gold, 5 red. US Agent 4 gold, 5 red. Carter is gear 14. 4 gold, 7 red, and Winter Soldier is leveled up properly. Gear 15, 7 gold, 6 red. All of which are at least 140k power level and higher. Currently use them in Doom 3.1 and teams leaves much to desired. I can barely even complete the first note, honestly not too impressed with them. Do you think Agent Venom is a secret sauce to this team? Do you think they're just T4 dependent in order for them to work this magic? So I have the T4s on Captain Carter's basic and passive, by the way. Yeah, I think for a lot of these teams to work properly, you're going to need the T4s. The other thing, it's hard to compare apples to apples. Like some of these teams, they replaced, I remember the symbiotes, they replaced another team, and you could use a very low symbiote and that would beat up whatever the previous team was. And you know, for example, you could use like a 600k punch up, 600k symbiotes, whereas the previous team was 1 million. And there are teams like that, but a lot of these teams, you're comparing them to different versions. Now I would assume, just based on the stars that you have in these characters, that your web warriors and your gamma characters are a lot stronger than your Rebirth team right now. So I think that's part of it. And yeah, it's hard to say in Doom 3.1. The only testing I've done on this team is on a test server in Doom 3.0, which any of these teams are going to walk over. So, and I don't have them all ready to test on my main account yet either. So I don't have a lot of great testing, but from what I hear, they are good. But yeah, like a lot of these teams, you probably want to get certain T4s on these characters to make sure that they give out ability energy properly, then their kits are functioning properly. So are they just a trash team? I don't think they're a trash team, but you probably gotta build them up a little bit more, put those T4s so that they're comparable. I'm assuming that you have a lot of T4s in your Gamma and your Web Warriors. I'm currently using them with Squirrel Girl and still testing to see which character to go best with in Doom Raids. Keep on smashing. All right, the update. Got Agent Venom. 4 gold, 6 red. Man, you got some really good luck on these red stars for this Rebirth team, brother. Congratulations on that. And Field Rebirth still is like a 3rd string team behind Web Warriors and Gamma, barely able to clear 1 node with the Rebirth. I think, again, like I said, if you're comparing apples to apples, they're gonna be better in comparison to both the Web Warriors and the Gamma team. If you have a much stronger Gamma and a much stronger Web Warriors, then they're gonna have a little bit of advantage. I don't know if they're that much dominant over the previous teams, that they could be a lot lower in power and still smash raids for you. But what was said, when they're built up, they are able to sim a lot of these high-end raids there. So I think they are the team of the future. I don't think you need to invest in them right now. You should try to get as many gold and red stars on them as possible. And if you don't already have Web Warriors or Gamma built up, then build them for the raids right now. If you do have this team built up, those 2 teams built up, then I think you could hold off on fully gearing and leveling all your Rebirth characters until they're actually needed in the game. They look like a fun team though. So that is it. Let me know your thoughts on Apocalypse. Were you excited by his kit or disappointed by his kit? What are you going to do with the Masters of Evil? They look very, very strong, especially on Crucible offense, but they're not really needed in any other areas of the game. So this could be a skippable team. I may be skipping that team as well, but they look very, very fun though. So that is it. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, check out some of my other videos. We have at least 5 videos per week on this channel about all sorts of things in Marvel Strike Force. If you haven't already checked me out on social media, check me out on social media. If you want to support the channel, check out some of the awesome sponsors that we have down below, like Amazon Coins, TeePublic, BlueStacks, and a lot more. And check out some of the other videos before you go. Have a great rest of your day. Hulk fist bump. ValleyFlyin out. I'll see you guys next time.